Hello there, Virgos. Thank you so much for stopping by for your in-depth monthly tarot forecast. This forecast is for the month of November, and this is for Virgo sun sign, moon sign, and rising signs. La da da da. We are breaking the month down into 4 different sections. We're starting off with week by week for the first 3 weeks, and then the last section will be 9 days. So for right now, we are looking at November the 1st through the 7th for you, Virgos. Let's see what kind of energy comes up for you. Okay. Virgos. First of all, what we're looking at is your environment. Environment is going to be any place where you have effort or energy invested. Usually it's home. Sometimes it's just within our own aura in our own body, and other times it can come up as work or as school. So you want to kind of have an open mind about where your environment might be or what I may be talking about here. It does look like you are coming back into your environment after being gone. And it looks like as you come in, you may kind of feel like you're on your own here. It looks like you feel a little bit isolated, and there's definitely some negotiations going on, maybe even getting a little bit tense in that environment as you come back. Okay. Next thing that we're looking at, Virgos, is talking about your subconscious leanings during this particular time frame. It looks to me like there's something new that you do want to begin. The only problem is that you're feeling like you're not really satisfied with the idea that you have enough resources to begin this new thing. And so your subconscious is really working out, okay, I do want to begin this. What do I need to do to make this happen? What do I need to do to have those resources in alignment with what I want to accomplish here? That's what I see going on in your subconscious. Now, looking next at learning style and communication style for this time frame. I do think you're learning a lot in your communications with spirit, whether you meditate, whether you're a medium, whether you do psychic work or read the cards. There's something here going on where you're communicating with spirit in order to learn information. And I think the information that you're picking up from spirit is information that you need, like right now. It's coming in right on time. I do think there's also something else that you're learning about right now that you actually know quite a lot. You're just adding to that information, adding depth to the understanding that you have of whatever that is. Getting the strong feeling that that may even be a person who's in your sphere of influence that you're finding out more information about, or deeper level of information than you have before. What else do we have going on here? It looks to me like there's somebody who is eager to feed you information or give you information. This is somebody around you who likes to gossip, basically. And I'm going to say, you know, probably better if you don't indulge in those conversations. You probably want to minimize those conversations rather than maximize them. All right, as far as communication style, I really feel like there's a lot of communication going on around you, Virgos, and I think that you may be sort of sucked into this energy too, but there's a lot of well, the good old boys where I come from call it, there's a lot of shit talk going on, okay? And I think that you're a part of that. For those of you who don't know that Midwestern slang, it basically means a lot of talking big. People are bragging and predicting things that they're going to do that really aren't going to happen in a million years, but they're talking like they are. So you've got a lot of shit talk going on around you, and you may even be, you may even feel like you're compelled to join into this, okay? Other communication that we see going on here, there is somebody that you're communicating with really strongly. I think you have a really good bond with this person, and so I think you're spending a lot of time communicating with them. This could be somebody that you spend 3 or 4 hours IMing them, or 3 or 4 hours on the phone with them, or video chat, or just hanging out together. But 3 or 4 hours at a time, just all the spare time that you have could be going on here. Also, what else do we have coming up as far as communication style right now? I think that there is somebody that you're trying to be very graceful and sensitive in your communication with. So there's somebody around you that you know that they're sensitive, and so you don't want to really trip any triggers on them. You don't want to say anything that's going to make them feel upset or hurt or anything else that might be a more negative type of feeling. All right. Okay, so next thing that we're looking at talks to me about your work. So Virgos, during this time frame for work, it looks like things are loosening up at work. In other words, you may be getting a raise, or maybe if hours were cut back, you're getting back to hours than what you have been recently, but things are loosening up in a way financially, and also some of the stress in the feels like that's loosening up too. There's a lot of truth that's coming out at work that I think is making you happy. Information that people were kind of sitting on just to make sure that these things that they're talking about were really going to happen. Now things are being made official, and I think that there is some kind of decision at work that you're going to be happy about, where somebody had to compare you to somebody else. And when they did, I think you feel like they gave a fair assessment. Okay, so this could be that maybe somebody had to compare you to other people for the same promotion or anything like that. But it looks to me like you got, there was nothing corrupt about this. Whatever the outcome was a good, fair outcome. Okay, let's look at inner work. Inner work. Excuse me. I'm not sure why I'm yawning. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. Inner work really has a lot to do with, if you study law of attraction, you're going to understand this, I think. And if you don't, I'll just try to explain it the best I can. But I think that your inner work is finding ways to comfort yourself, finding ways to bring yourself comfort, to look at the truth of a situation and be very much in the present. It seems to me like there's something from the past that's sort of dogging you that you've been having a hard time forgetting about or letting go. I do think that you're going to be cutting that off because you want... What's been happening is by your thinking about what's been in the past, you're missing things that are happening in the present. And so you're cutting off those kind of thoughts. That's going to be your inner work. All right. Next thing that we're looking at talks to me about that part of your personality which is being grown or expanded as you go through this particular time frame, Virgos. So what we have showing up here is that there is something going on where you're feeling like you're missing somebody. You're wishing that you were able to talk to somebody that they were here. Okay? And I think that there is some kind of completion that you've come to. This could be a graduation or some other phase in your life that you've completed. And I think that it may be that, you know, for a lot of you, I think this may be your mother that you're wishing was there to see this, or that, you know, if it wasn't a mother, this would be a motherly figure, possibly an aunt or a grandma, especially if one of them raised you. But there's definitely something here about a motherly type figure that you're missing. You're wishing they were there to witness this completion of whatever it is that you have completed, because you know that they would be proud of you if they were there to see it. Okay? I'm going to tell you, as a medium, they're proud of you whether you think they're there to see it or not. We are surrounded by a cloud of witnesses. Okay, so let's look next at those things that you're defending during this time frame. Now, these are things that have happened or decisions that you've made that people are kind of talking to you about or confronting you about, possibly even. But it looks like you have picked up some kind of responsibilities with somebody who may be younger than you, but definitely is somebody who is very social, is very outgoing, thinks things through very positively. They're incredibly smart. They like to make people laugh. And so you've picked up some kind of responsibilities to this person, and you're continuing these on. I think somebody's really trying to talk you out of this. Somebody's trying to say, hey, don't keep handling these responsibilities that you're doing either with this person or for this person. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to play out for each and every one of you. It'll be, you know, some of you it'll be one way, some of you another. But anyway, somebody's trying to talk you out of carrying these responsibilities. You're not hearing it. You're feeling like this is something that you want to do or something that you need to do, and you're continuing on with those. Now, how this other person feels about you, they feel like you've gone through some disappointment, definitely. And they also feel like after having gone through this disappointment, you're feeling a little bit de-energized. You're not feeling like you have a lot of energy for things. And you also are not feeling like you have a lot of patience for things. And to me, it looks like this person feels like this is a result of this disappointment that you've experienced in the recent past. So maybe at the beginning of this time frame, or maybe even before, slightly before this time frame of November 1st through the 7th. All right, Virgos, next thing that we're looking at for you has to do with the flex point during this time. So this is when things start to change direction, start to shape up a little bit differently for you than what they have been so far. I do see you taking some kind of break. Because I think you're not really happy with how things are going lately. It looks like on your plate, and just trying to get everything all to happen the way you want it to has really worn you down. And so I think you're just taking a break, you're calling a timeout, and you're trying not to focus on keeping everything, all those plates in the air. Not for a day or two. All right. At the same time, what do we have going on? It looks to me like you've got a situation where things are sort of lightening up for you. Someplace where you felt disappointed or not exactly perfectly fulfilled before, now you're starting to feel a lot better. There is some kind of new contract or agreement that is coming up that's helping you feel this way. This contract or agreement is with somebody who is probably male, definitely more of a dominant type or more of an assertive type of personality. And this is somebody who... I hope that you realize this going in, but they lie a lot. They're not known to tell the truth. They're known to twist the truth. So, but what's going on is there's some kind of contract or agreement with this person who's been known to twist the truth, and somehow this contract or agreement is making you feel less disappointed, making you feel some kind of relief. Okay? Also, at the same time that you're taking this break, I think we're talking about this contract again. I think that this person that you're coming into contract with, not only do they not always tell you the truth, sometimes they're just, well, it's a 4-letter word, but it's the only word that really is coming to me when I look at this card. Sometimes they're just kind of mean. Now, whenever you come into contract with this person, the other people that you're going to be interacting with, I think you see them as very friendly and possibly even friends specifically. But this person you're coming into contract with, not so much. Okay? Alright, so let's pick those cards up. And let's see where you are at the end of this time frame, Virgos. Alrighty, Virgos. What do we have? Someone in the family or in your tribe is coming clean with you about some type of addiction that they've been dealing with, is where we see you at the end of this life cycle. Somebody is being very honest and upfront with you about either their addiction or their battle with an addiction. I don't think that they've beat it at this point. And I do feel like this person is somebody that you would consider family, whether they're blood or whether they're actually tribe. Doesn't really matter. It's going to show up the same way to me on the table. But this is somebody that you're close to. Okay. So, alright, Virgo, that was some kind of big news there. Thank you so much for being here. That's the first time frame. I'm going to take a little break and come back, and then we'll take a peek at your second time frame and see what's going on at that point. Thank you for being here. Hello again, Virgos. We're back, and this time we're looking at November 8th through the 14th, once again for the sun sign, rising sign, or moon sign. And let's just see what kind of energies come up for you during this time frame. There goes one of your cards. We're going to take that. It fell fair. Da, 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 da. Let's put down the rest of them. Okie dokie, Smokies. Here's what we have coming up. This is going to be for your environment. Starting off here, environment is any place where you have invested. Usually it's home. Sometimes it's other places as well. You want to keep your mind open for what that might be. Okay, so first thing that I'm looking at is that you do have a choice to make about your environment or in your environment right now. And I think that you have this choice because you've come to some kind of acceptance that there's something that is just done, over with. It's not coming back anymore. This could be that your water heater's gone out and now you have to choose, do I want the gray one or do I want the white one? I don't know exactly what this is, but there's something in your environment that you have accepted that is just done. And so this is giving you some kind of choice as you move forward. What I can tell you about this choice is that there's really not a bad, there's not a bad way to go here. Whatever you choose is going to be just fine. Okay, Virgos. La da 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 da. Next thing that we're looking at talks to me about your subconscious leanings during this time frame. Okay, so there's something that you had started at some point, sort of as a leap of faith, not even really knowing exactly where it was going to take you. Maybe it was a hobby or another activity. Maybe it was a relationship. Could be any of those categories. And I think that there's a couple things that are happening with this in your subconscious. First of all, you're mulling over, do you want to continue with whatever this was that you started as a leap of faith, or has it served its purpose? Is it time to let it go? First thing that I can tell you is that after mulling this over, you are deciding that you are going to continue on with it. And as you're deciding that you're going to continue on with it, I think you have some new ideas about how to make this go forward more smoothly and in a more, feels like in a more big way. I'm even hearing big bang, so making a big impression, getting a lot of people's attention type of thing. And I think that you are collaborating with somebody on this idea. In other words, you have somebody else who's helping you with this. And this is somebody who is someone who's very logical, who's very detail oriented, really good at focusing in on the target and making that happen. So this is a really good person to be partnered up with. Now, all of this right now is in your subconscious. So all of this is just stuff that you're thinking about, you're considering, and you're working on mentally. You may or may not be taking action towards this by the time we get to the end of this time frame. You'll know if we get there and all this kind of shows up in different forms. Or it could be something that's waiting for a later time frame too. All right, next thing that we're looking at though has to do with your learning style and also your communication style. Okay, so I know this is going to sound weirdly specific to give for a whole sign, but I do think that you guys are learning about food and health and how food impacts your health. Different ones of you will be learning about this to different degrees, but I do see this as a significant thing that you're learning about during this time frame. I also see that you're doing a lot of reflecting on yourself during this time frame and reflecting on the world around you and how you interact with other people. I feel like you're reflecting on that because you want to do some improvements in that area, and so you're kind of looking at, okay, I can see that these are problem areas. How do I fix them, or what am I fixing? So I think you're considering that. Not only are you learning about that, I think you may be talking to somebody else about that too, but we'll see in communication. But I think part of learning is talking. You may be talking to a coach even about something like that. Excuse me, but that's the thing about working in the camera. You see yourself. Not always good. All right. Other thing as far as learning style here, there is still, and we saw this last time too, there's still a lot of learning that has to do with the supernatural right now. So downloads coming in during meditations, or if you're reading cards or runes or whatever sacred tools you may use. But you have a lot of information really that's coming in from spirit during this time frame, and I think that this information is actually to help you in strengthening your views on how the world works. All right, let's look next at communication style. I do feel like you are talking to a lot of different people during this time frame, and I think that you're you're not being 100% transparent with them, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'm not being accusatory at all or judgmental, but I don't think that you're necessarily telling everybody the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God. If they ask you about something, you may give a little bit of a vague answer, and I think that you're doing this because you're covering up some of your feelings. You don't want people to know that you're not feeling so hot right now, and so you would rather give them a vague answer than actually come out and lie. So I just think you're not sharing that. If somebody is pinning you to the wall and asking you about how you're feeling, maybe you are, but I think really you're going to be putting some sugar coating on that. La da 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 da. There is somebody here that shows up that you're in communication with during this time frame, but that communication is really fractured. It could be that you're really frustrated with communicating with this person just because literally the connection is not good, and there's a lot of just breaking up in the sound. Okay. But it could be too that you guys, for some of you, it's not going to be as simple as that. For some of you, it's going to be that the relationship is really coming into a place where the two of you are having a hard time being on the same page, and so it may feel like that communication is kind of fractured. You're not really saying exactly what you mean. Maybe you're not sure how to say what you mean, and vice versa. The other person, same way, is getting some wrong ideas about about you and your perspective, and maybe they are not saying things exactly the way they are either. So this whole thing just looks like communication can be kind of a mess at this point. I think Mercury comes out of retrograde on the 13th, so hopefully that'll be cleared up by the end of this week. But yeah, I'm definitely seeing some Mercury retrograde energy showing up here for your communication style. Now, la da 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 da. The other thing that I see is I think that you are teaching somebody something. Whether you're orienting a new person at work, or whether you're teaching somebody how to tie their shoes, or whether you're doing a teleconference with 5,000 people on Zoom. Is that even possible? I don't know. But I do believe that you are teaching somebody something. And this is a little more than show and tell. This is a little bit more in depth than just a show and tell. You are literally teaching somebody something, is what I'm feeling like here. Okay, that's enough for learning and communication style. Next thing we're going to take a peek at is going to be your work during this time frame, Virgos. What do we have going on? Ooh, all the shit talk has stopped. Look at that. Remember the shit talk from last time? Yeah, that's not there now. People have figured they better shut up. All right, what's going on here? You may actually be literally in a different location for work at some point during this week. So normally if you work from home, you may be spending a day or two in the office, or vice versa. You may even be having meetings in a different room than normal, but something is definitely happening in a different location. You could be changing jobs, you could be changing offices, you could be changing companies that you work for. Bottom line that I see, part of this is that work is in a different location. Now, the person that you're working with is somebody who is really a great leader. They're good at inspiring people, at showing them their vision on things. They're not so much hands-on. They kind of inspire and set the vision and let other people take it to the finish line. But this person is somebody who it's really easy to like, because they just come across in a very likable way. They're happy and they like to have people laughing. So yes, they can take care of business and they can be very focused and serious when they need to. But I think most of the time they're letting other people do the work. So they don't have to be so focused or serious. And I do feel like I said, any of that talk that was just a big bunch of blowing of air with nothing to back it up, I think that has shut down, at least at work. So wherever you're working, people are, whatever they're saying, I think you can take that to the bank, that yes, that's what their intentions are. If they're saying it, that's what they mean to do. Now, does that necessarily mean it's going to happen? Not necessarily, but they are going to put in every effort to make it happen. Okay? Now, inner work, looking at inner work for you. You definitely have a lot that you're thinking over right now. You're getting a chance to look at things in a more objective way than what you have before, and understand them from a different perspective. I think that is actually helping you. I think you're being very quiet right now as you're doing that. A lot of this different perspective comes from listening to other people and how they think about things. Yeah, and I think that you're learning to appreciate, not only to understand a different perspective, but to appreciate a different perspective that somebody else may be coming from on things that are important to you. Okay, so that's inner work. Next thing that we're looking at talks to me about that part of your personality, which is being grown or expanded right now. So what do we have? What do we have? What we have here... Aw, it looks to me like there's something that you are trying to complete, some kind of goal or target that you are trying to reach, and you were collaborating with somebody on reaching that goal or target, but for whatever reason they can no longer be involved in this. I don't know if it's that they're moving, they had a death in the family, maybe they're not making the grade, if this is a school thing. I don't know what this is, but whatever it is, you've been working together with them. Now they're not able to, I feel like they're the ones not able to participate in this anymore. And I feel like, saying goodbye to them Feels very bittersweet to me. I think that you're going to miss them greatly, but I also think that you're happy for them wherever they're going next, okay? So probably not a death in the family if you're happy for them. Yeah, we're going to leave that right there. Okay, next thing that we're looking at talks to me about something that you stand up for. So this is somebody that somebody has talked to you about. You've had a conversation. Maybe they've even quasi-confronted you. Maybe they've out and out confronted you. But this is something that you've stood up for sometime during this time frame. Okay, so you are one manifesting mama, Virgos. I do have you coming up as the Empress here. She is my female master manifestor, with the Magician being the male master manifestor, or the Emperor, I guess. No, I'm going to say the Empress. So the Magician and the Empress are the two manifestors out of a tarot deck as far as how I look at them. The Empress is, she's one who manifests by in a more receptive way, by drawing things into her that are good and happiness making. And so I do see you working on manifestations, like consciously working on manifestations. And in that process, you made a decision to do some communicating with somebody out there in the world. And so somebody is coming to you and questioning this decision to communicate with this other person or with this group. All right. And so how this person sees you after you've talked to them about this situation is they feel like you have lost something substantial that made you feel secure before. And that now what you're doing is that you're hustling, you're working, you're doing what you have to sort of save the ship, is basically what's coming up here. That's how they're seeing you. They're seeing you as you're talking to this person or to this group because you're seeing this as a way to recover from something that impacted your sense of security in the world. Okay? Excuse me. I don't know why those cards don't want to come off the table like normal. There we go. Okay, next thing that we're looking at has to do with your flex point, or the time when things start to form up and go into a little bit of a different direction than they have before. Excuse me. So what do we have going on during your flex period, Virgos? I'm thinking that you're realizing that somebody has been way less than honest with you, and because they've been way less than honest with you, you don't think nearly as highly of them as what you used to. And I think that this person who has been so dishonest with you is also cutting you loose from their lives. And so it's almost to me like the truth is coming out, they're cutting you loose, and you're realizing what they were really all about. And I'm not sure that you care so much that they cut you loose. I think you do because there was some kind of security there before that gets taken away when they cut you loose. But as far as being around them as a person, maybe not so much. Okay. What's going on at the same time? Yeah. You're walking away from love. Doesn't have to be love. This is, but you're walking away from a relationship where there was definitely some chemistry. And I feel like you're cleaning the slate. Like you're walking away, you're forgiving, you're letting go, and you're just walking away. And if you can forgive and let go at the same time that you can walk away, well, my goodness. Amazing. Kudos to you. All I can keep thinking is you're obviously not a Scorpio. I'm a Scorpio. That forgiveness doesn't happen at the same time that I'm walking away. That's going to take a while. But you guys are actually doing it in a more healthy way. You're forgiving, and you're walking away from this situation where there was some kind of chemistry, whether it was love or whether it was, something else. There was definitely some kind of chemistry here, and you're walking away from it. What else is going on at the same time? Yeah, okay. So you're just being really patient with yourself, and you're realizing that it just wasn't the time. I think it just wasn't the time for this partnership or this friendship or whatever this was. And you've taken some time to really think about what your priorities are, what it is that you want, what it is that you're willing to offer. And so you have a good sense of direction where you're going here. I think that you're being very patient about getting those things that you want and getting that situation that you want. I feel like that situation has not presented itself yet, but I think that letting go of this other situation, I mean, you don't have an open door for a new situation that might be better to come in unless you let go of one that you know is not going to work. And so I think that's what you were doing, is you were opening up that door for something that was better that could come in by letting go of this situation that I feel like you really felt like it's not going to work. It's not that there's not love there, there is, but it just comes across to me that you just have this sense that it's just not going to work. So let's not ruin that love. Let's still love each other and walk away while we're still ahead in the game, basically. Okay? Where do we see at the end of this time frame, Virgo? It's interesting because I get the strong sense that it's you that decided to walk away from whatever that relationship was. But at the end of this time frame, remember I said there was love there. I think that you're feeling depressed. And I think that you're feeling a little bit defeated that you couldn't make it work with that person, whether it's friend, romantic, whatever it is. That sense of defeat is there. And it's because that whatever agreement you had with this person has come to an end. And you're just not feeling very good about it emotionally. I mean, looking at these cards, it's really hard for me not to think that you're not going to change your mind coming up in the future, whether it's the next time frame or in December or whatever. I think that there is definitely, I can't say there's regret for making that decision because I think you felt like when you made that decision you were doing the best thing for both of you. But I think there is still some sadness about having made that decision. And that's still weighing on you pretty heavy once we get to the end of this time frame. Okay? So let me wrap that up, go take a little break, come back, and we'll look at your next week. See you soon, Virgo. Welcome back, Virgo. This time we're going to be looking at November 15th through the 21st. Let's take a peek at what kind of energies are coming up for you guys this time. Alrighty. All right. So let's look at your environment first here, Virgos, for the time frame of November 15th through the 21st. It looks like, how do I want to read this actually? It does look like you're moving away from whatever your environment is during this time frame, and you're moving towards something that you're hopeful will work better for you than what this environment has been working, Virgos, because right now it's just not working. Okay? So I think that's all I want to say about that. Not sure that expanding that is going to bring anything helpful there. I do have to wonder if this isn't tied into the water issue we saw during that first time frame, though. It might not be, though. No, I don't think it is. All right, let's look at your subconscious leanings, Virgos. Subconscious leanings. What are you thinking of in the back of your mind? there is some kind of disappointment that's on your mind, and you are having a hard time really moving past that disappointment, I think, at this time frame. Having a hard time maybe choosing to move past this disappointment at this time frame. And it looks to me like you are thinking about how to revive something or how to bring something back, how to make something more active in your life than what it used to be in the past during this particular time frame. So subconscious leanings is about dealing with the disappointment of a situation that's come up and trying to figure out how to reverse that situation so that it doesn't feel disappointing anymore. Okay? I've got to say, I see some pity party energy in there. So if you feel that pity party energy coming in, try to focus in a different way or reframe that somehow for yourself, because as you guys know, pity party information is not information. Pity party energy isn't productive for anybody, no matter what facet of your life it's in. So you want to do something more productive with your time, even if it's your subconscious time. Next thing we're looking at talks to me about learning style and also communication style. I do think that you're learning some things through this time frame by talking with friends or by networking, but getting information directly with communication to other people. I think you are also, you're having some things that are coming up out of your psyche, and I'm feeling like for some of you this may be because you're feeling, you may be feeling actually triggered. It doesn't have to be that. For most of you, I don't think it's going to be that, but you do have some things coming up that you haven't thought about in a very long time that actually offer some wisdom for some things that you're going through in the current time frame. And then the other thing that I have coming up is that there's in actually interacting with people in a more competitive way brings up information that you're learning as well. So that's helping you. That's another way to help yourself learn during this time frame. La da 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 da. Now we're going to look at communication style. So, excuse me. I feel like your communication could be a little bit scattered. You could be talking about a lot of different things. Virgos, I'm not sure what's going on here. You guys, I was doing your reading last time that I was doing this, which was a couple of days ago, and just sitting down to do the reading, I started getting tired and yawning. I had plenty of energy before I opened these cards for you. I am blaming you for that last little yawn, okay? Something about your energy just has me feeling a little overwhelmed on the emotional, intuitive level. So it may be that something that you're going through has you feeling overwhelmed, like it's just more than what you can actually handle or deal with in a productive way at one time, maybe coming in for you during this time frame as well. La da da da. What were we talking about? Communication style. I think a lot of your communication, especially with one person in particular, maybe even just with yourself, is going to be reflective. Some of you are actually going to be journaling, is what I'm hearing. Communicating with God, communicating with the source, whatever you want to call that being that's bigger than us and that came up before us. Bum, 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 bum. And I do think that some of your communication is going to be actually pretty emotional during this time frame as well, Virgos. Okay, next thing that we're looking at talks to me about work for you during this particular time frame. La da da da. Definitely money is going good. Okay, so you're doing what you need to do to bring in the money to meet your budget, and you're actually bringing in enough that you're having some to set back to save for the future. So that's a good thing. And I think part of what's going on here is that you are either taking on new responsibilities, taking on another job, doing something on the side, but you are more open to possibilities whenever it comes to work during this particular time frame. Okay. Ooh, let me not pick up those cards yet. We want to look at inner work first. So, inner work, inner work, inner work, inner work. I think inner work has to do with that you're coming to this realization that um, maybe you've been a little bit too open with someone in your sphere of influence or some people in your sphere of influence about your financial situation and your money. And I think you're coming to the point where you're realizing that maybe it's time to hold back on some of that information and not really, just keep that close to your chest is basically what I'm seeing you learning there as far as for inner work. La da 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 da. Knowing when to talk and knowing when to not. All right. Next thing that we're looking at talks to me about that part of you which is growing or expanding right now. There is a lot of fast communication going on. It's interesting. I feel like this communication that's going back and forth may be very lighthearted, maybe very happy, maybe, very productive. There's a lot of good energy around this communication that's going back and forth. And then we have a message that comes in that sort of disrupts everything. It disrupts the plan. It disrupts the happiness. And so it looks to me like because of this message that comes in, you're walking away from whatever it is that all this communication was going on about. You're letting it go because of this last final message that just basically, I think it just comes over in a wrong way. Is it in a wrong way? No, it's more of like, it's like you guys are bumping your head against the wall. All of a sudden you realize that what you are doing is only going to go so far. And then there's limits or restrictions that you are not able to lift yet or to work through yet. And so walking away from that project, at least for now, it doesn't feel like a permanent walk away, but it does feel like it's just not productive to work on it at the moment. Okay? Now let's look at what you stand for. We're going to look at that first, and then we're going to look at what the other person thinks of you as you stand for this thing. So it looks like you've been following your intuition, Virgo, and you haven't really been making any firm plans going forward. You've just been more going with the flow, and that's been sort of uncomfortable for you. Okay? And I think you're actually explaining to somebody why that's uncomfortable for you. Maybe you've been doing this because somebody's sort of been pushing you to or requiring you to in some way. And so you're explaining why that doesn't feel comfortable to you, to this person. And how this person sees you is as if they see you as somebody who is quite capable of standing on your own 2 feet and handling things very well, but maybe more or less not so much of a go in the flow type of person, but somebody who likes to plan things out and sort of put all the pieces together and make sure it's all going to work. And so they are seeing you as somebody where this kind of going with the flow thing is not really working so well for you after you're explaining this to them. And I think that they're not happy with this. I think they liked the idea before that maybe you could go with the flow. So they have a little adjustment to make here is what I'm going to say to you, Virgos. I don't know any Virgos who really have particularly gone with the flow very well myself. All right, let's look next. Let's look next at your flex time. So this is where things are going to start to shape up in a little bit of a different direction for you, Virgo, during this time frame. It does look like there's something that you're thinking back on with sentimentality. I feel like, yeah, this is some type of situation or possibly relationship from the past that really all the loose ends didn't get tied up. There wasn't a lot of closure there, and because there wasn't a lot of closure there, I kind of feel like this person that comes with all of these memories of the past and that sentimentality is sort of like sneaking in the side door into your life again and into your experience. I can tell you that it feels to me like you want to be careful of how far you let this person sneak in the side door. and sneak into your experience again. Because it looks to me like there was no closure in the past. It may be that all you need is closure, and it may be that this person is coming in for more than closure. So you just want to be careful about what you allow to happen or what you allow to develop, and not forget the things that you've figured out since the two of you were together. Okay? Also going on at the same time, yeah, I do think this comes as a surprise. I think that for a long time you were actually waiting for this person to show back up from your past, and I think that you waited so long that you just kind of quit waiting anymore. And so whenever this person does show up, I do think that it's a surprise to you. And even though you guys have good memories together, I think this surprise makes you feel, I think this makes you feel a little bit tense and a little bit anxious about what to do about it. What else is going on at this time frame? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So we do have this person coming in, and I think he's going to be saying, look, I want to move forward with you. I know that we were apart before, and I think he's going to be saying that that was his fault, and that wasn't fair, and that he's been really stressing out ever since then, and he knows now that he really wants to be with you. No wonder you're stressed out about this person coming in. I just don't have very good energy with this person. I feel like they probably decided to leave in the past, and I think that was completely their decision. And I feel like them coming back, I feel like they're just coming back because they've kind of made you their backup plan or their fallback plan. If things don't work out in one place, then they'll come back to you, Virgo. I don't have a good vibe about this person at all. At all. I can't even say that for a few of you this will work out. I can't even say that. Where do we see you at the end of this time frame? Yeah, this person is coming in and he's stepping up to the plate, trying to be large and in charge and taking care of everything. And you're just not on the same page. Not at all. Not at all. And I think that you're not only are you the two of you not on the same page, I think you Virgos are doing what you want to do with your time and with your life, just as if this person really hadn't come back for the most part. And I think that is part of why you guys aren't on the same page, because you're still doing your thing, and I think this other person just wants you to be sucked up right next to them every second. I don't see that working right now at all. I see you turning away from that and going off and doing your own thing. Okay, so that's where we see you at the end of this time frame. Let me go ahead and wrap this up, and I'll come back and we'll hit the last part of the month. Thanks for being here. Okay, Virgos, we are back again, and this time we're looking at November the 22nd through to the 30th. I apologize, I already have the cards down. I was running the camera and I was talking to you as I put cards down before I realized I had on my headset for my phone, not the one for my computer. Mercury is certainly in its shadow period, I think. I don't think it's retrograde yet, but it's acting like it's already retrograde. So, anyway, your cards are, take a look at them and just tell you what you've got. First thing that I have coming up here does talk to me about your environment. It looks like there's some kind of disappointment going on in your environment, and also it looks like you're sharing your environment with somebody who is probably a little bit on the younger side, and somebody who can be highly sensitive or intuitive themselves. And I think that you are definitely using your intuition whenever it comes to your environment about things that need to be done there, and when's the best time to be there, and I just feel like there's a lot you're being careful about in your environment right now, and that intuition is coming in pretty handy as you're doing that. La, da, da, da. Next, we're looking at your subconscious leanings. So it looks like in your subconscious, you're thinking that work has not been as successful as you would like it to lately, and you are looking at, okay, well, what do I do to turn that around and make it more successful? I don't feel like you're expecting anything bad to come. In fact, I think you are expecting things to turn around here whenever I look at this. So you're just making that plan to make it happen is what's going on. Now, next thing we're looking at talks to me about learning style and communication style. I do think you are going to be spending some time by yourself really thinking about things and learning through reflection and getting a deeper understanding of self. And that information always actually translates into understanding other people better too. So, but I do think you're going to take some time to be alone and kind of do that. What else do we have coming up here as far as learning? I really think that all the information that comes near you or comes across you, I think you're evaluating it and thinking about it. There's a lot of analyzing going on when I'm seeing this. So whatever information you're getting a hold of, I think you're analyzing it to figure out how much of it is real deal, how much of it isn't, as well as other things. There's a lot that you're analyzing it for. It's kind of hard for me to put that into words. But I do think that you are getting ready to make some decisions, and so you're analyzing as much information as you can to help you make the most educated decision possible in that situation. La da 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 da. Once again, we have another learning style that has to do with reflection, and I think you may be looking up to somebody else who is who you view as being really good at reflection, at thinking things over, meditating. And I don't know if I want to say you're getting mentoring from them, but I do think you're getting inspiration from them for sure. La da 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 da, la da 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 da. Communication style. So I feel like there is not a whole lot of communication going on from you during this time frame. And I do think that what you're communicating about does have to do with emotions or centers around emotions. I think that you are probably going to be doing some communicating long distance, maybe talking to somebody about this decision that I saw that you have to make, getting another person's input there. But also more, I think, sort of hashing things over as you talk with this other person. Sometimes we understand things better as we put it on the table for somebody else to examine, and I kind of feel like that may be what's going on there. There's also some communication going on that I feel like I think you're going to be taking somebody by surprise with this communication. I do think you're going to be communicating out of your deepest of emotions, but I feel like what you have to say is coming out more of as an attack than as an explanation. And on that part, I don't see a lot of listening happening. I would say be careful about this attack style communication. It does have a ripple effect. In other words, it's going to impact more than just the person you're talking to. So you want to be careful about that. Maybe even if you can, hold back on using that style to communicate. Being nudged to tell you people are watching you, little people are watching you. And that's why it's important to hold back on using that style. Okay, that is learning and communication. Let's look next at work. Workity work, 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 work. What do we have? So it looks to me like things are getting a little bit better at work. We have something that was really making you sad or upset. That is, you're not feeling as sad or upset about it. However, I don't feel like things are getting better as fast as you would like them to. I do have a card here that talks about impatience in this area. And so I think, your attitude right now is really one of impatience, of let's mash the gas, let's get this done. And not everybody else is on the same page where they want to move forward just that fast yet. I'm sensing quite a bit of caution around you. As far as inner work for you right now has to do with actually focusing and, not only daydreaming about what could make your life better right now, but really focusing and taking those first steps of action towards just picking anything that will make your life better and working towards it. Okay, there's a lot of things that would make your life better, but just pick one. Focus on that one first. That's where your lesson or experience is at this point in time. All right, so where are you growing or expanding right now? Growing or expanding. You are definitely recovering from something that seemed like it could potentially be devastating at one point. Now you're coming out on the other side of this, actually better off than where you were before. This may have to do with work. This could also have to do with relationships, but I think for like 80% of you, we're talking work. And this has to do with the idea of being in a reciprocal situation. So you're getting paid fairly for the work that you do. You're getting the benefits that you deserve for the work that you do. At the same time, it looks to me like you may be a little burned out. You may be a little tired. But I think that you are still moving forward. We saw that impatience earlier. This being burnt out. You could be burnt out with something at work and be impatient to move on to the next project or the next thing, definitely. But the thing that you're feeling burnt out about is actually the thing that is helping you make that improvement from whatever it was that seemed devastating. And it is fair pay. So you kind of want to try to keep everything in a perspective and not try to let your emotions swing you around. You want to swing those emotions around. You want to have control. And you can control your own emotions. We all can. Okay, next thing that we're looking at is, what do you stand for? What do you stand for? Okay, so this is something that somebody's probably talked to you about, possibly even confronted you about during this particular time frame. What do we have here? So it looks like there's been some kind of decision that has been made. Wow. Looks to me like you've decided to quit investing in some type of situation, project, relationship, something, and you have officially cut cords with whatever that thing is, and that has brought you a lot of relief. So much less stress is showing up on the table once you do that. And this is something somebody has said something to you about, and so you've sort of defended this whole process here. Now, how they see you once you've done your defense, once you've explained things to them, they see you as somebody who is really good at communicating and who is in communication really with a lot of people. And they also see you as somebody who is getting past any kind of old obsession or fear or addiction, that you're getting to the other side of that. You may even be, divorcing that on a very literal level. And they see that by getting past that, you actually are now able to do better for yourself financially. That's what they're seeing. Okay. La da 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 da, la da da da, la da da. Okay, next thing that we're looking at here talks to me about the flex point during this time frame. This is where things start to change direction a little bit and form up in a different way than what they were before. Looks to me like you're feeling pretty good as far as self-confidence and self-esteem right here. You are Yeah, I think you're looking for new opportunities. You're talking to other people about new opportunities. I don't think you're letting everybody know that. I think you're keeping that close to your chest with some people, though. There are some people you're not telling that you're looking for new opportunities. La da 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 da. What else do we have going on here? It looks to me, Virgos, like you may have been sort of digging into your savings or digging into a stash of some kind, and you have decided it's time to put an end to that. And so even though that may involve a little bit of self-sacrifice, I see you really living within your means, not pulling anything out of stash or out of savings right now. All right, next thing that we have coming up. Next thing. And this is all happening right around the same time frame. You are making a decision here, and it has to do with somebody who you used to consider a friend. I think you're feeling like this friend went behind your back and did some things in an underhanded way. This is somebody who thinks outside the box, can be very charming to the people that they're around, probably a female, by the way. Somebody who is very self-sufficient, maybe even owns their own business, but definitely very self-sufficient. And they have done something to you that you feel like they've betrayed the friendship. And so you're making a decision about, do you continue this friendship or not? As we look through this, yeah. I have to say, I think your decision is that you're not continuing on with that friendship, just from everything else that's going on there at the same time. La, da, da, da. Let's see where you are at the end of the month, Virgos. La, da, da, da. Okay, so Virgos. You either have a boss or a significant other that you just really don't like anymore. And I think at one point you did really actually either like to work with them or for them, or you like to be with a significant other type person, romantic interest. Maybe it was a friendship. Maybe it was what we saw here. But this person was trying to take like too much control. They were, like a boss, they're supposed to control things. But this person took too much control. And I think that when we see you at the end of the month, you're letting this person know that, hey, I respect who you are. I respect your position. But how about you back off a little bit? Because I have things I want to do too. And so my whole day cannot be ruled by you. All right? So that's where we see you at the end of the month. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for thumbs ups on the videos and for sharing this video with other people that you feel it may benefit as well. On top of that, thank you to those of you who are getting private readings, private Reiki sessions. It is because of all of you guys' support at every single level that I'm able to do what I love to do for my living. So thank you once again. Everybody have a fantastic, wonderful, thrilling month, and if I don't see you here for a private between now and then I'll see you back on the next video. Peace out.